Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of The Banker Next Door. I am your host, Dr. Joe Berquist, and today we're going to be doing a movie review of the movie called Blackberry. You may recall I did an episode maybe about a month or so ago, which I listed out my top business-related movies, and one of the things that I hope to do over the coming months and years is basically review a lot of business-related type films and documentaries and things that come out. Like, for example, right now I'm also looking at the Netflix is running the rise and fall of Jewel, which I thought was a very interesting one. So I'll be bringing you guys a review of that one in the not too distant future. But I just got my copy of the movie Blackberry, and this is a movie basically about the company Research in Motion. And what I thought was very fun about this is that I lived this Blackberry experience. I had a Blackberry, and lived through the 90s into the early 2000s when RIM was at its zenith. And so I just want to bring in my split screen here for a second. So here's the movie we're going to be covering today. So Blackberry, and I just want to switch down, give you guys a little info on this particular movie. So the movie was released earlier this year in 2023. The movie stars Jay. I never say his name right. Becker Baruchel. I think if I say that right, but Jay stars as Mike Lazardis, who was the kind of the co-CEO of RIM, and then Glenn Howerton stars as Jim Bellisili, who was the other co-CEO, and then Matt Johnson stars as Douglas Freen, who is one of the co-founders with Mike Lazardis, and then the movie also stars Richard Somner. Michael Ironside, who is one of my favorite kind of character actors. Anybody who has been following film for a long time knows that Michael Ironside has been around for a long, long time in Hollywood and has had some very memorable parts. Total Recall with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Battlestar. No, not Battlestar. Battleship Troopers in the late 90s. And Saul Rubinek is also in the movies. And there's also a great cameo by Carrie Ells, who again is another one of my kind of favorite character actors. He's been around a long time. Carrie goes all the way back to the 80s with the Princess Bride and everything. But he stars in the movie as the CEO of Palm, who was the owner of Palm Pilot. So what's the synopsis here? The synopsis is this is the story of Research in Motion against RIM, the makers of the BlackBerry smartphone. And the approximate runtime of the movie is an hour and 19 minutes or 2 hours. And so what did I like about this movie? The movie had a great cast, excellent writing. It was a great story. It was funny. It was intense at times. But it was very thought provoking and entertaining at the end of the day. What were the dislikes? Perhaps a little too short. The story jumps around a little bit. I mean, I think it does a great job starting out telling the beginning of the company in kind of the mid 90s and how they ran up. But then once they kind of hit it big, I think they kind of skipped ahead a little bit too quickly and kind of because the main stars both make an incredible transformation from kind of start to where they get toward the end. And then also, it could have used, I think, again, a little bit more explanation on things that were happening toward the end of the film. For instance, if I go back here for a second, so Jay, starting as Mike, Jay has this entire kind of transformation of his persona. At the beginning, he's this super kind of nerdy computer geek, and toward the end, he's wearing $10,000 custom made suits. His hair is completely different. He's lost the glasses. He looks like a more kind of polished corporate CEO type. And Glenn, where he starts out as kind of this high flying MBA, Harvard MBA. The epitome of the corporate person, but he doesn't go through so much of a physical transformation as a transformation of his personality. Whereas at the beginning, he's just a guy who's kind of coming in. He's a very driven guy, wants to be successful, wants to do well, but toward the end, that success has totally gone to his head, and now he wants to buy a hockey team, and then all kind of I'll describe it as hijinks ensues with that. But I think like again, this movie coming back, bringing it back to a personal level. I mean, this movie was great on so many levels, just because I lived through the whole BlackBerry craze. I had the BlackBerry. At one point in the movie, they refer to it as the Crackberry, which was just great because it's true. That's what they referred to it as. Um, but I think it was really fascinating to when you look back on the story of BlackBerry and REM, how there were certain things about it, like they had focused more on the corporate market as opposed to the consumer market. Whereas when Apple came in with the iPhone, they were more impressed on the consumer market, and then went into the corporate market, then kind of took over the corporate market. And the BlackBerry phone, while it was a great start, it had a lot of limitations. Like, yes, the email was great. They did kind of come up with the first iteration of text messaging, but text messaging at that point hadn't really taken hold. And again, you're talking about a corporate customer as opposed to a consumer customer, and the text messaging really took off with the consumers as opposed to corporate America. And at the end of the day, the cell phone operation on the BlackBerry stunk. It was horrible. I hated making calls on my BlackBerry. Number one, because of the design of the phone, the way it was shaped, and where the microphone kind of hits your ear versus like it did the space was limited. So it's like you could hear people, but then sometimes they couldn't hear you because the microphone for the receiver for your voice was kind of just a little bit too far away. So there were limitations to the BlackBerry. I mean, the email was great, but the phone again was kind of a digital analog display. I still miss the keyboard. The keyboard on it was fantastic. Much easier using that keyboard than the keyboard on like a standard iPhone per se. But I mean, you saw how though when iPhone came in, it took a few years, but eventually it just kind of ate away at BlackBerry because the iPhone took over the consumer market, and the iPhone just married all of those things. Being able to have the web browser, have the phone, have the internet, have the text messaging. It was all right there in one phone. That it had a better design, a sleeker design. It was better put together, and ultimately killed the BlackBerry. And you could see from a business standpoint, the strategically a lot of the mistakes that BlackBerry as a company had made. They kind of as they got big, they kind of lost focus, didn't spend enough time focusing on the consumer market, didn't really care. They made a lot of the classic mistakes you see as you study a lot of business cases of a lot of companies that have failed over the years. Made a lot of the same kind of strategic miscues, not listening to your customers, not understanding, how the trends in the marketplace were changing. So again, I think the movie does a great job of pointing those kind of things out. I will say on a deeper level, it was kind of interesting. Um, Again, not that they did anything necessarily criminal, even though Jim Basil got in some trouble for the way he hired people and the options contracts and things that he used to entice people to come over and work. Um, yeah. So there were some things he got in trouble there for a little bit toward the end, but it was kind of interesting because if you looked at Enron, if you've ever watched the film, the documentary, The Smartest Guys in the Room, you come away with Skilling, who was the CEO, one of the main guys with Enron. He kind of went through a similar change that Mike Lazardis did. Again, started out as this kind of very nerdy, kind of wimpy looking guy, and then completely changed his image. Went to the polished suits, changed the hair, lost the glasses, started like working out a little bit. Did these videos where he was always kind of out doing these like very masculine things, and the outdoors doing stuff. And so it's just image. It's interesting how you follow this trend of a lot of these guys in these tech companies that really try to, once the company gets bigger, they try to really change their look, their feel, their appearance. which again is always, I think, kind of an interesting thing to note. But again, highly recommend this movie. It was absolutely fantastic. My rating on the movie here is I give it 4 stars out of 5. Really entertaining watch. I really enjoyed it. If you lived through this period, or if you had a Blackberry at one point in time, you will absolutely love this movie. It just brings back so many memories, especially in like the late 90s and the early 2000s, just for a lot of things that were going on in that time period. I will tell you, if you want to check it out, let me get out of this for 1 second here. If you want to check the movie out, AMC on TV is doing a 3-night special event where they're showing the movie on starting tomorrow, which is Monday, November 13th. So the 13th, 14th, and 15th, I think they split the movie. They're going to be showing some additional footage. I think they're probably going to be showing some behind the scenes making of, maybe some interviews and stuff like that. But so AMC is doing a 3-night special event on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, November 13th, 14th, and 15th. So if you've not had a chance to check the movie out, I would say definitely go there, check it out, and hope you like it. But again, I thought this was a great movie. A lot of really good business lessons, again, that could be learned from this movie in terms of, strategy, things that you should do, just you got to keep your eye on the ball. Management style could definitely be critiqued. Leadership style, management style could be critiqued from all of the guys involved that were running the company. But again, highly recommend it. Go check it out. I think you'll really enjoy it. And I hope you enjoyed this review. Please make sure to like and subscribe. Check us out on YouTube, Rumble, and all major podcast platforms. Please leave a comment below because I always enjoy the comments from everyone that chime in on this stuff, because it's always a lot of fun and good times, good stuff. But again, hope to see everyone again real soon. I'll be coming out. If you haven't had a chance to check out the first 2 parts of the crypto series, which I also posted today, please go on and check that out. I'll be kind of running multiple parts on that crypto series as we get into different parts of that. I'll also be coming back next week. I should be coming back with a couple more banking updates, just kind of an update on banking in general. Maybe talk a little bit more about commercial real estate and kind of what's happening in that, because it's been probably about a month or so since I updated on some of those things. So I'll be going over all that, and then I'll be getting back to you with some other cool things I'm working on in the near future. But check it out and let me know how everybody thinks of it. Give a like, definitely give a like if you can. It always helps the channel. And I'll see everybody again real soon. And I totally forgot. Final shout out to veterans this weekend. Obviously, we had Veterans Day yesterday. Marine Corps Semper Fi had their 248th birthday on Friday. So again, if you have a veteran in your life, make sure to thank them for their service. Make sure to hug them. And if you have any loved ones that have passed away that were veterans, just say a prayer for them and thank them for their service. Make sure to just be very appreciative of their service for the country, and love our veterans. Always stand with our veterans. So thanks a lot. Enjoy. Have a great weekend, everybody, and I'll see you again real soon.